what are your thoughts on meditation or using a device before bed or before a game?
So yes, I mean, Calm is fantastic. You know, it's fantastic resources on it, no doubt. But the way it's actually delivered through an app, the fact that you have to access a mobile device or even a laptop or whatever, again, that's essentially breaking that kind of routine of being calm, as you guys call it, before bedtime. I mean, the reality is we need to have a bedtime routine. It's going back to the world and technology. Technology is a wonderful thing in general. It's designed for us as human beings, by us as human beings, to generally make things better. However, there's huge marketing behind all of this. There's huge competition, as there is in any business. And if we look at the world right now, for example, what could we do? Obviously, with the chicken and the egg, COVID-19, lockdown, March, April, May this year, where we would quite honestly be on our own, a lot of us in the world, without having some sort of technology to communicate with people. However, the fact of the matter is, our human brains have not evolved. Our human brains have evolved in certain regards, but they haven't evolved in such a way in general that it's going to look after the technology that has frighteningly improved in the last 20 years or so, and will ever improve. So to answer your question, ideally, no, I wouldn't be using those apps, certainly not before bedtime. No, definitely not. With regard to, I personally, I would go back to the 2-3 hours thing before a game as well. But you made a very, very excellent point there, Ken, as well, I think, where the other option is to learn it. That's the beautiful thing. If you can learn it off those things, you are, and that goes back to your earlier question as well, Chris, that you said about pressurized in the moment and stuff. You can always use those things in the moment of pressure in a game, because, you know, you can't go to the sideline the game and grab your app and pop it on for 5 minutes. You got to be out there. So whatever you learned prior to going out in the game, the big pressure time of a game, that's when you're going to utilize it.
I think that's a great point, because I think, you know, when you are, if you don't learn the meditation techniques, then you can't implement them whenever you need to implement them, right? Because then you're going to fall back on, I need to go back to my app to go through this process step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you learn it, then you could start with step 2, step 4, or whatever, whenever you need it.
And that, to your point, you don't have to consciously learn meditation. If you're doing it and you're in the meditative state, then it will be feeding your subconscious. So therefore, when the pressure or the nervousness kicks in, it's like a secondary device within your brain that just trip switches and takes over. When the nervousness kicks in for other players, like a big game, Super Bowl, you go out there, everybody's going to be nervous in some regard. There is nobody there that, okay, they might have played there a few times, but it's a brand new time. There's, you know, billions of people in the world looking at you. It's prime time. Nobody wants to mess up. So if you've done your work prior to this, and like Ken just said, if there's that momentary addition coming from your brain that's already been wired, you'll actually begin to see things a little bit slower. And it only takes a split second to see it slower to be able to be a split second ahead of other people. And that's what you want as a snapper.